turn with me to Exodus 17:1. Exodus, the 17th chapter and the first verse. Exodus 17:1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord. According to what? The commandment of the what? Of the Lord. According to the commandment of the Lord. Not according to the commandment of Moses. Not according to the commandment of the elders of Israel, but according to the commandment of the Lord. And they pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. So you mean to tell me God could send you, come to a place and get you out of bondage, tell you that you're on your way to the promised land, and then put you in a place where there is no water? I'm going to let that simmer a little bit. Wherefore, the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? And wherefore do you tempt the Lord? Now, when you look at that word tempt, you can also use that word interchangeably at this point with test. So he says, why are y'all testing God? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us out of the land of Egypt to kill us, our children and cattle, with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod wherewith thou hast smote the river, take it in thy hand, and behold, I stand before thee there upon the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of Israel. And he called the name of that place Massa Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted or tested the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? And then came Amalek and fought with Israel at Rephidim. So let me start off by saying, what we all need to understand is that expansion, everybody say expansion. Expansion is, I got a lot to get out in a short time to do it, but expansion is about a mindset. You can never expand in the physical where you have not already expanded spiritually. Are you hearing me? There are a lot of people busy trying to make progress in the natural, but they have no spiritual source through which they can expand. So when you trying to do it in the physical, you're just expanding energy. You're just burning energy. You're just doing activities. But everything that's going to expand has to expand spiritually before it expands in the natural. Everything starts in the what? Spirit. The invisible creates the visible. Remember that. The invisible, the spirit realm, is more real than this bench right here. The spirit world created this bench. This bench came out of the spirit world. We came out of the spirit world. Everything that exists came from the spirit. So the invisible creates the visible. Vision is you seeing the invisible and being able to bring the invisible into the visible, right? So you got to understand that expansion, you have to expand spiritually or mentally before you can expand physically, right? All increase starts where? Spiritually. All increase starts mentally. And then everything else follows what you birth spiritually or mentally. So expansion is about mindset that is open to vision. That's why vision is so important. Belief of that vision. And then the pursuit of that vision. So then you got to be open to see greater, to see more, to envision where it is that you desire to be and where it is you desire to go. And then you got to believe in that vision. Now, what is the challenge? Because while you're believing in the vision, you got to be convinced that your vision is more real or just as real as your circumstances are right now. You can't believe the vision is just something that could happen. You got to believe that your vision is a reality waiting to manifest. Your vision is already in place, waiting to come into being. Are you with me? And then you got to what? Pursue that vision. That means vision activates us. If you see a person that said they got a vision, but they're not moving towards it, they're not navigating, they're not pursuing it, then it's two things. Either they don't have a vision, or they have a vision, but they don't have the faith to believe, because faith without works is what? Dead. So if I have a vision, it activates what? Some movement. It activates the fact that I need to pursue what I believe. And I have to believe in that vision, just like I believe that I'm going home today and my furniture going to be in that house. You got to understand that expansion, listen, expansion requires focus. Everybody say focus. So number one, you got to what? Be open to vision. Number two, you got to believe in that vision. Number three, you have to pursue that vision. Number four, you have to expand through focus. It requires a type of, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, but here it is. It's almost like you got to have an obsessive focus that sees through and beyond distractions and sees beyond those things that are going to come to what? Derail what it is that your vision has shown you. You have to understand that even though you're focused on your vision, your present reality still exists. So you got to be like Superman. You got to have X-ray eyes. You know the wall is there, but you got to be focused on what's on the other side of that wall. You know the challenge is there, but you got to be focused on what you're trying to get to on the other side of that challenge. And so you got to understand that you always know that whenever you have a vision, you're going to automatically going to be encumbered with what? Challenges. Right? So you got to understand these things are going to come to what? Derail your vision or derail your mission. So then Joshua 1:8 talks about this focus and says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. Thou shalt meditate on it therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do. That scripture has every component that I just talked to you about. It says, first of all, don't let it depart out of your mouth. Second of all, it says you need to focus on it. It says meditate on it what? Day and night. So that means you need to focus on that day and night. Then it says that thou may observe to what? Pursue or to do according to all that is written therein. For thou, this is what you need to understand. Thou shalt make thy way prosperous. Who? You, not God. This say God was going to make you prosperous. He says when you understand vision, when you understand belief in that vision, when you pursue that vision, when you focus like you should and not allow yourself to get distracted, he says, guess what? You make your own way prosperous. And guess what? And then you're going to have good success. Are you hearing me? So expansion and succeeding with expansion and growth and getting to where it is you want to be has all about your ability to understand, to believe, to focus, and to pursue that which you believe. As soon as a crisis comes up, the people automatically lose sight of the fact that God delivered them out of Egypt to take them to the promised land. Soon as they come into a issue, they what? They forget, hold on, didn't God just bring us out of the promised land? Didn't God just show us signs and wonders and miracles? Didn't he just get us out of the So here we are, and we run into a dry place where there's no water. And when I read the text, it said, and God commanded them to go this way. So if God commanded them to go that way, didn't he know they were going to a place where there'd be no water? Okay, so is the lack of water indication that God ain't there? See, this is where we make the mistake. We trying to assess God's presence by our present reality. That's where you make your mistake. You trying to determine whether or not God is there based on what you see. If God is here, then it's going to be good. If God is, where's God at? Where he always was. Watching over his word, watching over his commitment to you. And so they already has lost sight on their goal because they're caught up in a what? Crisis. And the crisis is meant to distract you from your goal. Now here's what you got to understand. Please hear what I got to say. The minute God says something good about you, bad things happen. The minute you have a vision to expand your business, your workers going to go crazy. The minute you decide to do something different and grow and flourish in an area of your life, all the negative things that can happen are going to happen. Why? Because that's the nature of Satan. He wants to come and bring you realities that are going to cause you to believe in these realities more than you believe in what God said. So he wants to what? He wants to use these realities to distract you from your purpose. Get you caught up in what's going on so you forget about where you're going. Are you with me? And so he's an expert at that. Soon as God says something good to you, bad things start happening. So then Satan comes along and say, well, if God said it, then why this happened? Right? If God said he was going to bless you because you tithe and because you sow seed, then why all these bad things? Why are these bills showing up? Why are you having issues with? Why? You know why. You can't be surprised that negative things show up. They're coming because it is the devil's strategy to do what? Show you the crisis. Now that's where you have a choice. Either you're going to believe the crisis or believe in your vision. Which one you're going to do? Because the one you believe the most is the one you're going to focus on the most. Now watch this. They focus on the lack of water rather than the provision of God. Soon as they get thirsty, they start focusing on lack. They start focusing on the facts that there is no water. They forget that God promised you that he was going to take you to the what? So you can't die here because you ain't at what? The promised land. You haven't fulfilled your vision, so how you going to die here? But see, they so consumed by their present situation that they done took their whole mind and everything off of where they were going. Look at the next thing. They were focused on what they don't have rather than what they do have. Soon as something come up, they start focusing on, oh, we ain't got no water. What we don't have. You understand the focus, they focus on what they don't have. They focus on the lack of water rather than the what? The rod that produces the water. Can I ask you a quick question? Why in the world are you focused on the lack of water when you possess what produces water? I'm going to ask you one more time. Why are you crying, belly aching, upset over the lack of water when you hold in your possession the thing that produces the water? Here's the deal. You got to understand, we have to, when we are intent in expending our life, we have to develop this mind muscle called focus. See, that has to be developed. Focus has to be develop. How many know we're easily distracted? Come on, somebody. How many know it don't take nothing to distract us? But focus is something you have to practice. Focus is something you have to work on. Focus is a muscle in your mind that has to be developed by hard work and intent. And so when you are talking about growing and expanding, you can't expand without focus. And you can't focus unless you develop that focus and learn how to overcome and look beyond and not allow distractions to remove your focus. Are you hearing me? We must develop a mind muscle that allows us to stay consistent. In other words, if we are focused on a vision, then our life is going to be consistent with where we're going, not where we're at. I'm going to say that again. If we got vision, if we believe in the vision, if we're pursuing the vision, then we're going to focus on where we're going, right? And we're never going to allow ourselves to get trapped where we're at because we're too busy focusing on where we're going. So I can't let where I am, what I'm going through, my crisis right now, this temporary thing that's coming to challenge me, I can't let that rob me of my focus of where I'm going. Right? You got to hear me. Now, here's the deal. We must develop an attitude to find the solution rather than the obstacle. You got two choices. Focus on the problem or focus on the solution. Focus on the crisis, focus on the lack, or focus on the solution. And here's the deal. Most of the time, 99.9, all of the time, the solution is readily available. But you know why you can't see it? Because you are blinded by the what? Problem. You are blinded by the crisis. You are blinded by this temporary situation that is facing you right now. And so now it takes your mind off of what it is that you really have and what you really need to be doing. So you ever been sitting in a room and you've been so focused you forgot that anybody else was in that room? Matter of fact, you forgot you was even there. Your mouth hung all over, you stand into the nothingness, and you focus on something that you lose the context of who is around you. Somebody got to tap you on the shoulder to make sure you all right. In other words, what I'm trying to get you to understand is when you understand that focus is necessary and distractions are going to come to rob you of that focus, because that focus is going to take you to vision. Are you hearing me? That focus is going to take you to your new reality. That focus is going to allow you to expand and go to another place in your success, in your destiny. So you got to understand, that's why the enemy is after your what? Focus. That's why his game is to what? Distract you. Because if he can distract you, he know you're going to mess around, play around, run around after this distraction, and guess what? You're never going to be moving towards your real goal or your real vision. There are times when we must fight, but we must be careful to choose the battles wisely. See, you know what a lot of us do? We cannot waste time fighting battles, losing energy, losing our focus in unnecessary battles. What you fighting for? Choose your battles. Every battle you get into, every conflict you enter into is another conflict or a battle that's draining your what? Your energy. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to fight. It takes something out of you. It stresses you. It burdens you. It drains you. So then here's where you have to be smart. You have to be smart enough to know what battles are worth fighting. You got to be smart enough to understand that You can't waste time. Your energy is precious. Your focus is precious. So when somebody comes and when opportunities to fight or opportunities to engage in stuff, you got to stop before you engage and say, now, is this helping me get where I need to go? Is this worth my energy? Is this worth my time? Am I really going to sit here and make my blood pressure go up over this? See, we don't think. We don't realize that suddenly these things come up to what? To distract us. Get you fighting about the wrong thing. Stuff that don't matter. Stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And you wasting all that energy, busting blood vessels, head about to pop off over something that does not even make a contribution to where you're going. If you're going to fight for something that's taking you where you're going. Don't fight for foolishness. You know, you sitting there thinking, well, you didn't bring me my slippers. What is you fighting over that for? Sometimes you just don't need to waste your breath or your energy fighting over stupid stuff. It's just a distraction. Touch your neighbor and say it's just a distraction. You don't waste your time and waste your energy. Oh, you didn't open the door for me. Oh, you open your own door. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get the door open for you, but I'm saying why would you let that be the topic of your conversation? Why would you let that bring you into an argument? Why would that turn into fussing and cussing and spitting and now y'all ain't speaking? Right? When you got bigger fish to fry. This ain't got nothing to do with where you going. But you spending all your time over here complaining and arguing and bickering over something that has nothing to do with your future. Nothing to do with where you're going. And so this thing here becomes a distraction. Why? Because if I can keep you engaged in this pettiness, if I can keep you engaged in foolishness, you will never have time to think about where you really should be going. Are you hearing me? You got to understand, many times we get into fighting because we never take the time to think about how this is going to affect our long-term views. I see people all the time. You arguing and fussing over something that ain't got nothing to do with you, and it's not going to affect you one way or the other, for real, for real. You bicker, don't you see it all the time? People bickering over stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Who cares? At the end of the day, while you worried about what's going on in somebody else's house, while you worried about what's going on in the White House, while you worried about what's going on in everybody else's house, your house tore up. Oh, y'all not hear me? And at the end of the day, everything you arguing about is only temporary. Now, I read it, and I hate to even talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Somebody was out fighting over whether Aretha Franklin, what was the fight about? Yeah, who should play Aretha Franklin? Should it be Halle Berry, whoever it was? Joker in jail. Now you sitting in jail over something that ain't got nothing to do with you. You just an idiot. You just allowing yourself to get distracted. Now your whole life is on hold because you engaged in a fight that don't even concern you. How much time and energy do we spend on foolishness? It's just like when we was in school. I'm getting ready to move on. Just like when we was in school, we used to call it hidden case. I don't know what y'all call it. And when you wanted to get on somebody real, you rag on each other and throw, insults at each other and see who can top who with the biggest insult. And so when you really wanted to go for the juggler, you just talked about somebody's mama. But the point is, when you knew when you talked about somebody's mama, there was a 75% chance you need to get in your stance. Right? Your mama's so ugly, whatever. She looked in the mirror and the mirror fell off the wall, whatever. You know, you say that, and now you fight. You don't forget you was in school. You don't forget this gonna affect your purpose. You don't forget that all of, you done got caught up in this battle that ain't got nothing to do. Where your mama at? Your mama at home or at work or doing what she doing. She don't care nothing about what y'all saying. She don't understand what you're saying, and you do her more damage by fighting the person that's talking about her than you would have just walking away and coming on home and being a good student. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your mama ain't thinking about it, and you all up there fighting and knocking rocks off each other's shoulders and getting suspended out of school and getting kicked out over what? A battle that was never yours to fight. Now look, you don't let these small distractions derail your whole vision and your whole purpose. It's a distraction. Touch your neighbor and say it's a distraction. And so and so then guess what? Then we get ourselves into fights that affect us in a negative way. And so while you over there meddling in somebody else's fight, you get killed. What good is it for you? Somebody else fighting, you running over there gonna be the hero. Better leave them people alone. Because what they gonna do is knock you out, and then you going to the hospital and they gonna go on with their marriage. I'm sorry, baby. You laying up there with a knot on your head in the hospital trying to get in. No, you got to understand, some fights you need to stay out of. Touch your neighbor and say, some fights you need to stay out of. You got to understand what fights that you need to be engaged in that's going to promote where it is you're going. And the other stuff, you need to learn how to what? Block it out. The other stuff, you need to learn how to not let it get into your purview. The other stuff, you need to keep it out of the way and not allow it and resist the temptation to get involved in foolishness that's not going to promote where you're going. Come on. Why are you even in that? Who cares what you think? Why are you even having an opinion? Why are you taking 2 hours to talk about something that ain't even got nothing to do with your... You spend 2 hours talking about somebody else's money and you ain't got none. You talking 2 hours about somebody else's relationship and yours on a banana peel. You spend all this time talking about engaged in other people's stuff, messy stuff that don't matter, stuff that ain't really got nothing to do with nothing. You spend all that time while you are being distracted from the thing that means the most to you, and that's your destiny. Are you hearing me? Don't allow yourself to get distracted by issues that will cause you to forget that you already have the resources you need to expand. Don't allow it. Stop. Resist the desire to get stuck in the minutia of things that don't promote where you're going. If it ain't about where I'm going, if it ain't about me excelling, if it's not about me expanding, if it's not about me fulfilling my purpose, if it's not about me fulfilling my goals, if it's not about me achieving what I need to achieve, if it's not concerning my well-being, I don't need to be bothered. Are you hearing me? If you ain't promoting, if you ain't with me, if you ain't helping me, if what you're doing is not bringing value to where it is I'm going, thank you, I like you, but we ain't got to hang out. At the end of the day, the people were consumed with their thirst. Moses got consumed with their complaints. And the people were ready to kill their own vision over some water. Y'all ain't getting this. The people are consumed with what? Thirst. They're so consumed with their thirst. Now they mad with Moses. Moses is upset and consumed with the fact that these people are upset. And now the people ready to kill the vision. They ready to kill the one that had the vision. What sense does that make? God brings you out of Egypt, gives you somebody with a vision, and then that person is trying to take you to the place of your destiny, and now because of water, and because you're distracted, And cause now Moses is consumed with your anger. Are you hearing me? You in a situation where you're ready to kill the very thing that's supposed to bless you. Oh, y'all not hearing me. And so many times we allow ourselves to get in a situation that we will literally kill the thing that's trying to bless us. Guess what Moses happened? God had to remind Moses. He had to remind Moses, you have what you need to move forward. See, you so caught up that you forgot the very thing you need is in your hand. You got what you need to take it. But instead of focusing on what you have, you done got distracted by all this other stuff. Watch this. And the Lord said unto Moses, go on before the people, take them with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river. Remember, Moses? Remember? I gave you a rod. You think about these crazy people and forgot about you thinking about the lack of water and forgot about your rod. The people saw what you did with your rod when you were in Egypt. They saw what you did with your rod when you was at the Red Sea. Now you've got the same rod. But you done forgot all about what you have, worrying about what other folk got. You done got distracted by foolishness that other people are getting into. You done let the mess these people into distract you. Now you done forgot what you have. And God has to remind Moses, hey, dummy. Hey, hold up. Get yourself together. He says, remember you got a rod when you smote the river? Listen what he says. Take thy hand and go. Behold, I will stand with thee there upon the rock of Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come out water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. Had the solution the whole time. Had the solution, done used it before. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. You know it works. And you all over here in a fit of rage with the very thing you need in your hand, and you so caught up that you don't forget what you got. Notice that God never feeds into the problem. He always speaks to them about the solution. He always says to them, hey, man, get yourself together. What is that you got in your hand? Didn't it work before? The same rod that turned into a serpent and ate Pharaoh's serpent, the same rod that you stretched out over the Red Sea is the same rod that will get this water out of this rock. Y'all ain't hear me. It wasn't about what God was going to do. See, here's the deal. You can't put God to the test. You can't test God. And the Bible says that the people tested God. Listen, God, how you going to test God? You can't test. He is God. The only person being tested is you. So the next time you ask the question, well, Lord, if you with me, why this happened? Or what's going on with this crisis? Because I thought it don't look like it's going to happen, Lord. Where you at? It ain't your job to test him. You the one in the test. And when you look at your obstacles as a test, when you look at your obstacles as an opportunity to see where you really are, when you look at your obstacles and your tests and your trials as an opportunity to evaluate your faith, to evaluate how far you are and how close you are to your vision. When you look at it like that, then you don't take the position and the posture that this is a bad thing. You understand that God allows me to get in this place, but he's also giving me the tools to get out. Are you hearing me? If God allows me to face this adversity, there's something I need to recognize instead of getting caught up in the situation, caught up in the distraction, caught up in what other folk doing, caught up in getting mad, caught up in getting into battles and fighting battles that don't don't have nothing to do with my success. What I need to do is focus on what I got and let God remind me constantly, you know what, I put in your hand what you need. The problem is not what's going on around you. The problem is you forgot. You lost your focus. You let these things distract you. Hello, somebody. Your house would have been cleaned up if you didn't get distracted. The yard would have been cut if you didn't get distracted. Things you should be doing that are valuable to you would have been done. But what happened? You got distracted. Come on, somebody. You should have been home by now, but you got distracted by your voice, by your text. One distraction will cost you your life. Oh, y'all not hearing me? Instead of you focusing on where you're going and paying attention to your destination and trying to get, and making sure you position yourself and focus on where you're going, you got your eyes somewhere else, and the text that you reading ain't had nothing to do with life or death. Then you knows it. You just had to look. And the minute you look, and all of us have been there, when you get distracted, it don't take but a second. If you look back up, you're in the back of somebody's car. You done almost destroyed your car because you allowed yourself to what? Get distracted. You see it all the time. People start focusing on the distraction more than their destination. That's why you're going down the road and all these cars is moving slow, bumper to bumper, and folks about to run into each other, and you get up there and find out the reason why you can't get by is because everybody knows they're trying to see who was in the accident. Do I know them? You over there, you have allowed your attention and your focus to get off that fast that now you part of an accident. You done ran up in the back of somebody. You can't even drive looking at what somebody else doing. It takes discipline to focus. It takes discipline to stay out of battles that don't belong to you. It takes discipline not to let somebody take you off your game. It takes discipline to harness your emotions when you feel like fighting, but then you think about the fight ain't worth it. You got to understand that the only people that are going to make it where you say you're going is the people that recognize who they are, what they have, and stay focused on where they're going. You can't be distracted. You can't. Hello, somebody. You can't be distracted because you will never expand. So what the children of Israel did, they did this. They walked around in the wilderness, getting nothing accomplished, going nowhere, because they were constantly distracted by what they were dealing with rather than where they were going. Are you hearing me? They were constantly bellyaching and crying about their circumstances rather than saying, God said we're going there. We got what we need to get there. They always cried about what they didn't have instead of praising God for what they did have. Are you hearing me? And whatever we need, God has already given it to us. Are you hearing me? Whatever we need, we got what we need. God has already supplied us with what we need. We just got to what? Use it. And not allow ourselves to let other people and other things make us forget who we are and what we possess. Don't make me lay my religion down. No, you just getting ready to get distracted. That's all. And that's all the enemy wants you to do is what? Lay it down, make a fool out of yourself, and then you got a bigger problem getting the way you're supposed to go because you allowed yourself to get what? Distracted. Don't get distracted. Stay focused. You got a vision. You got a purpose. You got a destiny. And the next time you start getting engaged, and the next time you feel like you need to step into something, or the next time you're getting pulled out of your rhythm and you're getting pulled out of your purpose, you better stop and think, hold on, no, this ain't a fight I want to fight. I'm not fighting this fight. Nope. No, I'm not spending time talking about what's going on in the White House. I got to focus on what's going on in my house. Y'all go ahead and holler and fuss and spend your energy and your time fighting over something none of you can control. Y'all ain't talking to me. I ain't got time for that. You go ahead and get into that. I'm going to stay focused on where I am, because here's the deal. While I can't do nothing about what other folk doing, I can do something with the people I got. Y'all didn't hear that. And so that's why I got to stay focused on my what? Assignment. My assignment is you. My assignment is the focus that I have right here. I can't be distracted. I'm not going to allow myself to get off and on, because if I do, then I'm going to impede my capacity to fulfill my purpose. Are you hearing me? Touch your neighbor and say, don't get distracted. Stay focused and fulfill your destiny. Pick the fights you're going to fight and make sure they're worth it when you get into them. Hello, somebody? Because I'm not fighting nothing that's not going to move me closer to my destiny. And some of y'all need to do some checks today and say, listen, I'm into too much stuff that don't affect me. I'm into too much mess that's pulling my energy and stressing me out. I'm cutting that loose. I'm not going to be distracted by that anymore. I got to align myself and get myself together so I can get where I need to go. Because all the people distracting you, guess where they're going to be? Right where they are now. And guess where you're going to be if you let them distract you? Right where they are. You got to move forward. You got to stay focused. And you got to understand your destiny is at hand. Come on, give God a praise. God bless you. I'll see you.